Welcome back. We're going to talk a bit tonight about an extensive survey by the Canadian Men's Health Foundation that shows some troubling statistics when it comes to levels of anger, anxiety, and hopelessness that affects every aspect of daily life for men. There's a couple numbers. The survey of 2,000 men by the organization found half of the men aged 19 to 29 are at risk of problem anger, and nearly 40% of them admitted they wanted to hit someone in the past month when the survey was conducted. That's compared to 16% of all Canadian men. It's a disturbing number. Kenton Boston is CEO and president of the Canadian Men's Health Foundation, and he joins us from BC's Okanagan Valley. Kenton, these are worrying numbers, but somehow they just don't seem that surprising.
Yeah, sadly, that's the reality, isn't it? We're inundated with kind of the negative side of society right now and the negative impact from the manosphere. If I said the word manosphere or toxic masculinity, these are phrases that are often in the conversation right now. And the negative side is the impact that that's having on all of us, families, but young men in particular.
I mean, those terms came about for a reason, right? And there are things that are being explored now that needed to be looked at for a long time. But why are young men, I don't know, seemingly so prone to anger now, perhaps more so than a decade ago?
There's a few different reasons. Top of mind, as you ask the question, is the role of social media. It's the digital impact. If you look at what happened in the U.S. with President Trump and his election and his support base, kind of right-leaning younger men, that's a real focus for us. And that's to understand the power of technology that is supported by all the big companies that support, make money off this sense of anger, this sense of resiliency that I have the right way that lives on social media. That's a huge negative impact for people. There is a positive side, the reach out digital applications. So we're not saying that it's solely about social media, but it certainly plays an influence. And it really prompts us down, and we're right now asking for funding to do more research to understand and contradict or overpower that sense of the parasocial influence on young men. Yeah. And that is the simple thing of advocating for families, advocating that it's about creating a safe space for younger men and their parents, and understanding that it's about communication. We had a program in the springtime that was called You're Not Alone. And it's the counter this idea that is social media prevalent, that is, get on your device and talk to your one friend or two friends. It's about building the network. And that's what we're really focused on right now.
Yeah, there is that echo chamber, right? But there's also, it almost seems like a shorter fuse in some of these young men now than, maybe when I was growing up.
I think that's a big part of it, but I think most importantly is because there is no role model. I remember when my son was in his teens, he's now just turned 30, believe it or not. And it was his lack of role model as society changes. And that's the other thing that is at play right now, is that people are trying to figure out the role of young men, and they themselves are trying to figure out as they look at this idea of, being a manly man, if I could use that, and what is our possibility of affording a home at the age of 30, and is that a possibility? Not to say that it's about that role anymore. Society is changing, but men and young boys are needing to find their place. It's about a culture shift, and if you've been through that on the work side, any of us, culture shifts and shifts in thoughts and beliefs take time, and that's why we're really encouraging everyone to get involved and act the sense of community, bring that sense of community back, that it's not just on the young people, it's about their support networks and making sure that it's a conversation, and reach out to those people that may be more distant, who may be willing to, remove themselves from the family situation. But it's about all of us coming together to provide alternatives and to support them.
You still see a stigma around asking for help?
Huge. Yeah. Ask me right now how I am today. Fine. It's ingrained in us for a whole bunch of reasons. And as at the Canadian Men's Health Foundation, we spend a great deal of time, wordsmithing, if I could use that. How do we reach out to men? And last year we had a program we do this year coming up. It's called Health Check, and it's about the 8-9 chronic diseases that people get as you tick along in age. And we know that if you're younger, that you have a better chance of avoiding the things that affect us, like diabetes, like heart disease, low testosterone, prostate cancer. And how do we do that? It's novel things that have been around for a long time. It says sleep 8 hours a night, eat better, exercise, and rest. And we went through last year and said we wanted to target younger men. And we said, hey, lower your risk. And a psychologist friend of mine said, lower your risk of what, Kenton? Don't you remember when you're 21, 22, 19, lower your risk of? And that really opened our eyes about the power of language to say, get stronger, take that perspective, and you can reach more people that way.
I got about 30 seconds left here. Is there a way to turn those numbers around? Now, you've talked about it, but do you see, is there a silver lining here?
We've got programs right now that do offer some insight, but it's a journey. We're beginning the journey. I think we're starting to recognize the problem, and it's going to be up to all of us to come together to drive that forward, use the solutions, use what's there, but don't stop talking. Okay,
well, that's some good advice, and the numbers are startling. As I mentioned, it's all available on your survey on the website, Kenton Boston with the Men's Health Foundation. Thank you for your time tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with much more. Stay with us.